We have made it to the downhill slide of this year's National Finals Rodeo here in Las Vegas. We might be rolling down the hill, but there's no spinning going on. We're here to rally together one more time on a terrific Tuesday morning. She's got fresh coffee and a smile on her face. It is Kendra Santos, Tommy Joe Lucia. It's No Spin Rodeo Rally.
Welcome, everybody. It's the No Spin Rally right here at Las Vegas, Nevada. We're in the east entrance. By the way, if you haven't figured out this is over here, this east entrance, it's Cowboy Commons. This is a cool, brand new place. And for all of you husbands out there that, you know, that your job is to get from the motel room and to get her here and to give her a credit card and to point her towards the nearest purse store, and then you're looking for a place to sit, they've done a great job, including here in Commons, with very high-end leather couches. We do have we've got the boss with us of this, and so I was going to ask him if they dispose of the furniture post-event, does he have a problem with any of these couches going to Texas? What do you think?
I think it may go to Texas. I think it belongs to Mr. Garrett Yerrigan.
Garrett, you own these couches?
I didn't know that I did, but my wife is telling me that there's a possibility. So I'm glad that we all learned that together. Well, what a great day.
I hope you have a big house because you've got 12 leather couches.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, yay.
Welcome to No Spin Rodeo. We're at episode 41. Greg Teagarden to my right, the master of control, First Lady of Pro Rodeo Journalism, and my mammoth partner, Kendra Santos. And we are happy to have a longtime friend and I would say an advocate, a marketing advocate. We've had a couple of these on now for the sport of professional rodeo, specifically here in Las Vegas, Mr. Bo Gardner. Welcome, Bo.
Well, thank you all very much.
Kendra, you're quiet.
Kendra's still scared from the mammoth ride this morning.
No, that was cool. That was super fun. I thought I'd seen and done it all in Vegas in 38 years here working this rodeo. But
by the way, you want to talk about it, Kendra?
There you go.
Hey, I wore my Casey Tibbs boots today, but I tried to give it the Casey Field.
She's got her feet
toes
up.
out.
Mammoth.
By
the way, people, that, I don't know, 30 feet in the air. And I'm just telling you, she got to sit in the saddle, but the drop between the saddle and the mammoth exit is very steep. There's a lot of slidability in that situation.
You are your father's son there, by the way. He would be very, very proud of you.
Don't I look like the one-armed bandit with two arms? I haven't grabbed any copper lately. So, yeah, look at there. And then when we get off, this is a funny story. So we get off, and I laid on the mammoth and messed around and everything, and we're standing there, and I've got mammoth hair bundled on my buckle.
Oh, no.
And
it's like just sticking out of his
it's
buttons, and I look over there,
it
and
looks
it was
like
so awkward, like he's got this 3-inch
It's like a pubic hurricane going on right there.
It's awful.
She said, you're going to need to get rid of that. Good morning, everybody. We're right in the middle, right?
By the way, can I just interrupt what you said earlier, that the men bringing their little ladies here and giving them the credit card and stuff? I'm not a bra burner, but Oat does not give me a credit card, and plenty of us little ladies do just fine and have our own money to spend here also. Just
Just
because you're
1940, that wasn't the point.
1942,
The
Joe
point
Bob.
was he was pointing to the bar and the Bloody Marys and just come down here and have fun.
In case you don't know, well, the way Kendra works is she sits there and smiles, and she takes her stiletto off her left foot and she sticks it up your nose canal and twists it. I'm sorry, all of you self-made women that are out there buying your own purses, rock on. Here, there you go. There you go. Well, let's talk about Bo a little bit. Kendra, you're the journalist and obviously the smarter. I'll let you start the kind of back and forth. We like to know a little bit about our guest. I think this guy's a visionary. He reminds me of Casey. He really is. and he's a marketing genius, and he's really turned around, in my opinion, the merging of the Vegas brand with the Western culture, which kind of was when I went to Salt Lake, right? It's why are they having a rodeo and the Mormon church? Sometimes it's a struggle to figure why is this a marriage made in heaven?
Yep. Go ahead, Ms. Kinder.
Well, I was going to say a couple things about you before you tell us about, because I don't know which one of us is older, been here longer, but I do know that Vegas was a ghost town before this rodeo came to town in December, right?
That is
and
correct.
So this has been a godsend.
Correct.
I will let you say what your title is, but there are some things from knowing you a really long time. It's not, to me, like perfect people in this industry are people who are really, really smart, work really, really hard, and are somehow, some way able to also be really, really nice, even though every Tom, Dick, and Harry is at all hours blowing up your phone because they need a personal favor. I've witnessed this. You have grace. You never sleep, and you never accept the status quo. You're always trying to do something bigger, better, new ideas. Nothing around here stays the same because it always keeps getting better, and you're a big part of that. What is your title?
My title is Vice President of Corporate Marketing for Las Vegas Events, and I spent 20 years in the beer business. So marry those two together, and this is what you get.
Oh, perfect segue. Perfect segue. You're getting married in January. And,
I am.
And for
First time?
Yeah, oh no.
Oh, okay. You're a repeat offender? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, but here's the thing. I do not know Trisha Price well personally. However, I told her at the Lazy E a couple years ago, I'm like, I do not know you, but I like your style because she has a do not give a shh attitude. And for hardcore rodeo fans, I also love about this girl that remember when a media person out on the grass a couple years ago at Pendleton got shithouse plowed by a bucking horse and then jumped up like a scrapper and then posted her friends laughing at her and videoing it and making fun of her because she also has a sense of humor. I'm like, I love this girl and I don't even know her.
I should have sent you that video. I'm sure you could find it. It's easy to find. Just Pendleton wreck and
shithoused. And then she jumped up. She jumped up.
I'll send you the video.
It's hilarious. And she laughs at herself. She's laughing with us. We're laughing with her, not really at her but what a gamer. She jumped up like a track star and got out of there and then laughed with us.
She's really repeating that on January 4th. Think about it.
Here we go.
She's a risk taker.
But it speaks of how fun she is.
Yeah.
And then, so the fact that this guy who doesn't sleep and gets these things, moves mountains, he's an industry titan. And then he's got this fun haver. She's a boss also. She doesn't need his credit card to go shopping over here.
No.
Well, there's two sides to Bo, right? I haven't seen the second side. So they have their little social club. They have their group of guys here that are tight. I'm not included in that. They're tight. They golf. They have fun. And I'm assuming that when you're in that setting and you feel safe, that you're able to have a good time. Because it doesn't look like you're having, you got too much on your plate like all of us here. Do you ever, at what time of the day do you relax? We're getting wonked. Do you relax ever in the 14 days?
When I'm at home, I relax. Trish and I both do. So we have a pool in the backyard, and she says, turn that heater on, and we'll go sit out there all 365 days out of the year. So.
Or you go to Mexico.
We do travel a lot. I mean, her parents are in South Dakota, mine are in Ohio, and of course all of our friends are in Texas, so we do travel a lot.
Now, we've said this before, and I love doing it because it bugs Kendra. He comes from a middle-class family.
Yep.
Another one out there from a middle class. So, Ohio. What did you do with Mom, Pa in the grocery store? It was a grocery store growing up, right?
Yep.
What was your job?
Started as a carryout boy. Went to a cashier and then worked in the deli bakery and meat department. And my father wanted me to learn all of them before He made me an assistant manager.
And you got the hell out of the grocery business as soon as you could.
You know, I like the other side better. The wholesale business was more, I could be more creative with that.
Yeah. I think that's cool. Our guest.
I love the little fun things or whatever. And I don't know if if this is true that Trisha has a lot of bridesmaids, or if this was a rumor. But I heard a rumor that one of her bridesmaids is Jade Corkill. Is that true?
Well, he's supposed to wear a dress, but now that we've become friends, he's kind of going to stand on our side.
But is that not true? Jade Corkill, one of the goat healers, is standing up for his wife.
Well, of all the places to do it, Vegas is where you would want to do that.
Yeah. I have to tell you a good story about one of all our friends, Mr. Michael Gahn. So we were at an event to run for $1 million, and Mr. Gahn said, "Hey, I heard you're getting married." And I said, "Yes, sir, we are." And he goes, "You're getting married at the South Point?" And I said, "Yes, sir, we are, in your showroom." And I said, "Fun fact, first wedding ever in the showroom at South Point." And he goes, "I didn't know that." So he said, "I want to invite your wedding party to Michael's for dinner." And I looked at Michael and I said, "Sir, I cannot do that to you." And he said, just kind of gave me a look. So I said, you know, there's 13 on her side, 13 on my side, plus family. I said, we would take over your whole restaurant, and I could not do that to you. And he said, well, that's the first time I've ever been told no in a long time.
And for those who don't know, like that's where the nightly go-round buckles are given.
Yep.
So 13 bridesmaids and grooms.
Yeah.
It's going to take 45 minutes to do the little walk thing at the beginning.
No. We're running, right, Garrett?
Yeah, probably so. I mean,
you got to fill the stage or it'll just look boring.
You fill the stage.
Vegas, baby.
That's right. Well, congratulations. You
Thank
look
you.
very, very happy.
Thank you.
I hope that continues for you. Well, we're going to get started here like we do every day. We try to run through everything. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Greg, we haven't heard much from you. Anything you've heard in the last 24 hours that you think is interesting?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we had Casey on yesterday, and I started looking through the stats, and I thought it was very interesting. The most popular athlete was Haley Kinsel.
In pro fantasy?
In pro fantasy. She had 60% of the teams out there have her on it.
Wow, that's why 60% of the teams are beating me.
Yeah.
But I thought it was insane. I would have lost all day long that only 15% bet on Tyler Wagasback when he was only coming in 14th this year, and he was such a bargain. Like, I mean,
Yeah. Well,
I can't believe that.
I've got tie down roper.
Webb.
Oh, yeah. The other thing interesting is
Riley.
Yeah, he's on fire, right?
Shad Mayfield is on 44%. Riley is only on 10%.
10% of the people picked Riley.
Look at how smart we look.
Yeah.
Are you in the tattoo deal?
No.
Why?
I don't gamble that way. I like blackjack.
That has nothing. It's for charity. It's for good.
To be honest, I don't have time.
He's keeping it clean like Casey Jones. Good for them.
Oh, he
Let him
have
be.
time to. I have plenty of time to do it. Okay. Well, the Tattoo League update. Lucia Legacy sitting 6th, hanging in there good out of 30. Kendra, you have jumped a spot. You're up to 13th. So congratulations.
What's the total?
30 of them.
30.
And remember, the number one person decides the tattoo of the number 30 at the end of it. And Oda's at 20, so he's still moving in the wrong direction.
I would love to get to pick Oat's tattoo and the placement.
So and all of it's for charity. And so, but anyway, I thought those were interesting numbers.
Yeah.
Because we were having a quick conversation. Would it be smart, because the top 6, they pay in 6 holes. So Greg and I were saying maybe it would smart to try to figure out middle of the road all the way through that would always be in the top 6.
Kind of the average winner.
Right. Well, yeah, at the end of the day.
Well, at least make money every night. A lot of times you'll get one guy that makes any money, and then you'll have.
Now that we're heading into round 6, we haven't talked much at all about the average. and everything's going to be turned upside down after round 10 for world titles and all the
I think as we
leagues.
run through the events, now's the time to start looking at the aggregate and talking about that. Disciplines, aggregates. It's a sports thing. It's not an average. It's not an average. Look at the definition of an average. All right, here we go. Thank you.
No.
Thank you. All of you people that are
Sellout Urigan.
follow real sports. Here we go. All right, Daily, all I had was I wanted to give an update. Earlier in the week, there was some drama and conversation on this show about an injured horse that did not get to buck. We reached out to the people that run the NFR for you guys, and one of the bosses called me and said this, and I think this is, he said, well, I'm not going to get involved in the scuttlebutt of this. However, that the staff that's back there, most of them have been bringing up the world's greatest animals and putting them in the Thomas and Mack for 24 years. And he said this is the first injury to a horse.
And it was also, to be clear, a
very
minor cut that could have happened before they were loading him. This horse bumped into a panel. Minor. It's totally fine. Will buck again here. So I think let's not be drama queens.
We're putting a button on this. Everybody's vying for everybody's jobs out here. We know that. So if they have the opportunity to try to get a shot at being the big boy, they try it. But these guys they've got track records. There's proven track records. There's not a bunch of green hands out there like we heard. So it's over. We're done talking about it.
There are no volunteers.
No volunteers.
No volunteers.
These are paid people.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we pay the best.
Yeah. So, done. So, but we always try to hear both sides of the story, right? So we covered the story that was out there, and we reached out and said, can someone give us a comment? And we got it. So
there were far more than two sides to that story, and I think we hit them all. The veterinarian, the stock contractors, the people working out, back there. This is the tightest run ship I've ever seen the NFR is.
Absolutely.
And all those years I was in Sean Davis's production meetings, and those people who write down to the second what happens, which that's something to bring up from last night. Interesting, there's always that fine line call of whether you're going to buck or re-ride in the bull riding then, or you're going to run the flags, close it, like they did last night, and
I can't
Josh
stand that.
Frost,
went
after the rodeo, and there were, I'd say, a quarter or so of the fans still left in there, but when he rode that bull, that place came on fire like it was a packed house. It was really. It's cool, but I mean, I stand and watch the extras after that.
But why can't the re-ride be loaded? I mean, that's like not finishing overtime to the fans of a college game. In college now they're doing you get a play. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree with you. My understanding from asking over all those years was that it was so tight to get people back.
Our run of show is like Ms. Kendra said, by the second, and those pins are tight on each end, and it's when we load, we're ready to go for the next run. So, and the production team can make calls and adjust like they did, but like Kendra said, I agree with what was done last night. I mean, I see your point.
I'm not saying I agree just because I'm so hardcore. And
the winner's not announced till he rides his bull. Right? I mean, you guys, you still send someone behind a flag, right? Is that right?
Yep.
But he's not the winner, necessarily. He could be. So there's two sides to every story. I understand the operations of it.
Over all the years, and I don't know, I don't want to put Bo on the spot about this, but over all the years when I used to ask, like, these are the hardest core rodeo fans in the world ever, why not do that? And some people would say, we're in Vegas, and these fans need to get back to those casinos. And I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
No, I understand that, but if that bull's loaded, if the re-rides are loaded, specifically in the bull ride, now I really do understand it in the bareback ride. It's a good example where you've got 15 broncs loaded behind them, and how are you going to spill that horse? I get that. Yeah. In the bull riding, you don't have another discipline loaded behind there. My only question is, why couldn't you have your next available re-ride? And the worst of that would be Josh's last. You got to give him time. And there may be ground rules that I'm not aware of that they get a certain amount of time before they have to get back on.
Okay, and that may well, too. I would be shocked if it didn't go in to the decision-making. Josh was last night, so to give him 5 minutes to catch his breath,
I'm sure that was part of it.
Is also a fair consideration to the contestant.
I know, and there's again, when we talk about things, there's a lot to this. We've said this over and over again. Same thing as, well, why won't they let them throw the piggin string into the crowd? Well, it's not as simple as can they throw a piggin string. Same thing here. I think in every chance that I could, I would try to let our fans see the winner in real time on TV and live.
But on the other hand, it was smooth to have Rocker take his re-ride at the front of the bronc riding.
That was smooth.
Right, but that's still contained within the performance.
It was contained within the performance, and you weren't trying to get to the bus lines. And I get the reasons. And I got to do a shout out. I've got a lot of comments. People are really liking Tim O'Connell. His commentary.
Did you see the one graphic that was really sort of funny? There's somebody, I have no idea who, but it was sent to me. Somebody did just a fun, do you call them memes? I'm not very hip. Where it was a picture of Tim O'Connell, like being very serious, and somebody snapped a picture of Tim being serious. And then here comes Charlie Too Tall West, our buddy clown, who's
on TV. No, they were interviewing him, and you see this small little.
You see a little head, and somebody put on the meme, because Charlie Too Tall is the one that rolls out the red carpet for the, for those of you who don't know him, is he 3 feet tall? I'm not sure. He's
a small person.
Okay, Charlie.
I think that's the right
Charlie
term.
Too Tall West is awesome. He's hilarious. He's married to a girl I grew up playing softball with, Mitch. My dad was her dad's vet. I mean, we go so far back. But in this funny thing that people put up, he wears a tuxedo to roll out the red carpet for the national anthem singer every night. So here's Charlie Too Tall coming by. It's almost like a little unintended photo bomb on Tim O'Connell, and somebody put, don't know where Donnie Gay was going, but he sure was dressed sharp. And it was pretty funny.
It was live on TV. They went to Tim in the hallway. The hallway there is the known hallway that you walk up. It's branded on each side, which we started with the PBR back in the day. Branded on each side, and Tim's up there. And, Tim, here's my thing with Tim. I think, did you see the story about Tom Brady? When he first started on TV, and they're like, you suck. And Tom Brady's like, yeah, I'm not good, but let me tell you something, what I do. I will figure this out and be the best, right? And I see that a little bit in that in Tim. He's got if you watch, you can tell he's got a big note card. He's put a lot of work into it, and he thinks he needs to get all of it in 22 seconds before they cut away from him. But Tim's doing a good job. That's all I'm saying.
Is Tim officially retired?
I heard he's riding next year. So we need to find that out.
He's coming back.
Steve's nodding his head.
He's coming back?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So he's just putting a toe in the water.
Well, no, he's planning a retirement plan. That's what he's doing.
Look at Luke Branquino and Casey Fields. I think Casey does a phenomenal job also.
But there's going to come a time when everybody that was great can't be on TV. I mean,
I can't be on TV.
Anyway. The only other notes I had, we do have the World Series of Team Roping going on at South Point. I think it's worth bringing up that the winners of the 13.5 yesterday, they won $213,106 a man. If you're at South Point, it's Team Roping Town. You can't get a place to eat, you can't park, and you're liable to get roped while walking down the hall. They're often swinging out there, 3 arenas going, and that's a cool event.
Lots of spurs jingling in the hallways there.
Neat fact, between Orlando and his dad, the winners yesterday they've won over $210,000 on a head horse they're riding.
There's something going on that there's like a Grulia four-year-old head horse that's won like a pile there. And, go to the Team Roping Journal for the hardcore stuff like that, but I can't wait to read it.
And the last little scuttlebutt that's out there, if you're watching on TV, so I'm going to address this, and Greg, you might want to have a comment because Greg has written stats programs for rodeo. Especially in the bull riding, you're looking at a clock on the screen, guy gets bucked off, you freeze it on your TV, it says 7.7, he's off the bull. So I'm going to lean on you a little bit, Greg. There's a delay in real time and what they're seeing on that screen, and I think we need to let these fans know that.
Yeah, so it's just in the processing of getting the signal from the actual timer that happens, the official timer, to where it gets to the TV and where they can create the graphic. So it could be milliseconds, it could be a half a second. I'm not sure on that, and I don't know the exact processing or step, how
but
they run everything.
Do you think they have that problem at the Preakness? Right?
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, it really depends on how they set it up.
It's tough to say, oh, well, it's good enough.
Yeah.
And that's a thing at both ends of the arena because when I was the rodeo mom here a couple years ago, two different times, like we freeze, like here's my kid walking back, almost back to get on his horse, and it's like the clock says 7:05 in the background, and then they put up on the board 7:09, and you're like, you know what I mean? Like people have questioned that at both ends of the arena.
Now, I'll tell you where it's really noticeable is during the barrel racing, because on TV they're running out of the alley before the clock stops, and the eyes are actually more towards the barrels than they are the alleyway. So.
But the one thing to understand is that, like for instance, in the rough stock event, all the judges that are out there can stop the clock. Okay, any one of them with a handheld, and I think there's 4 or 6. Bo, do you know? 4?
You're talking about the rough stock events.
In the rough stock events, they can stop the clock.
And everybody knows that the official time is being, managed on the arena floor. They're not watching it on TV and timing it. So
the main message here is that it's sort of an optical illusion, but not to worry. It's being documented correctly.
It is being documented.
And the times you see on TV are right. They just may not line up to what you're seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the button's being pushed, and it's the same processing time for everybody, right? So if there is a 3 millisecond delay, everybody is playing on that field. So knock it off, all you couch judges. They're giving away buckles here, and I would like to see it be closer to right, but it is what it is.
Okay, I thought something before we start getting into the nitty-gritty here. That was interesting. It came up yesterday when we were talking about Memorial Night, and there were a couple, questions about, people being missed, and in
omitted.
fact, pardon me?
Omitted.
But
that's the wrong word to use.
No, it was simply because they died after the deadline for making the video, and they will be recognized next year. So it's all good. But the one thing that we did bring up, that Mike Mathis died here in Las Vegas during the NFR last year. And he was, at that time, he wasn't left out. He was recognized here last year, and I remember it clearly because I didn't know. And then it was on the big screen, and it has the, when he was born year, and then when he died, and I'm like, it was just haunting. But at first, I said yesterday, well, I remember it clear as a bell because it was the only NFR Slack performance we've ever had, because it was the day after the UNLV shooting, and it was extraordinary that the show was able to go on for these contestants who worked all year to be here. But I learned after we spoke yesterday that in fact there was in 1982 there was an NFR Slack performance in Oklahoma City because they shut down the barrel race. And then they brought him back in that huge open building and reran a go-round. Jackie Woolman, T's wife, told me that because she was entered that year. I think her horse's name was Flight. And she said, oh, it was crazy. That this building was huge, and we were all in there, and there was not a soul in there, but we ran around to the barrel race.
What's kind of amazing about Vegas. It's not amazing. You guys do this 365 days a year. But just like the problem at South Point, right? These are serious, and you guys, that concert situation out there was devastating to the community and to everybody. But you guys have really put some time and effort and planning, because we're seeing incidents that are managed so well that they don't cause catastrophic shutdowns, right? Is that something you guys talk about, work on? I mean, I'm assuming it's topic of conversation.
It is. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, of course. A lot of stuff. Casinos do very, very well at not allowing a lot of those details to get out into public. And I think social media, everything that we do, right? Social media can blow anything out of proportion.
Right.
And I think there are just a lot of people out there that believe that now. You know, They know that, hey, what you see on social media is not always a fact, right? So they do a really good job of managing it. And yes, there are tons of meetings and a lot of experienced people that are making those decisions. So
Social media is like, I mean, it's progress on the one hand, but like as a journalist, like you can call yourself a journalist and post every day like you're a writer. As
I do.
Well, anyway, I'm just saying, you know,
I'm an expert. Everybody's an expert.
Nothing
on that.
is fact checked.
Everybody's
so
an expert.
you do have to be careful. I would love.
You know what the bigger problem is, though? Is all of the consumers take what they say as fact.
Okay.
That's worse than the people writing
No,
it.
no,
is that
it's
everybody
not. No.
thinks it's fact.
No, because here's why. You can no longer, for a lot of things, 100% fact check something based on Google, because you can pay to be the top of the search engine.
Yeah, you've always been
If
able to
I
do that.
Google, you know, who has the best ground in the barrel racing of all time, you can pay and have yourself be the top.
can,
and
but-
then you can lie, and then you're like this expert source.
But if
It's
you're
just-
an educated consumer,
No.
hold on. If you're an educated consumer and you Google best hot dog in Vegas, right, Bo? Up it comes. It says ad. I scroll down the first 10 that are sponsored and paid for, and I look for the one that's organic, and that will be the next one past all the three. That's an educated consumer.
Okay, good for you. I would love to. Skippy, you're so smart.
I think the problem is we take Google as the word to begin with.
Right. But anyway,
Same thing with
I would
Wikipedia.
love to. One of the ways that I've gotten to know Bo Gardner so well is through the Junior World Finals. And again, you know, what can we do that we haven't done? 2017 was Oat and I, our first year to do the steer wrestling. I'm not sure when it started, but before that. When is the first year?
So next year we will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
That's awesome. And I mean, the Junior World Finals is cool. And like he's got nothing else to do. But every day, the first 5 days is rough stock, and is it also tie down and breakaway?
Yep, correct.
Okay. And then the second 5 days, we've got steer wrestling, team roping,
Barrel racing,
poles.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Kaminsky
Yeah,
does that.
How many
you know?
kids come in?
This year we had 740 kids and 815 entries, so a lot of double entries.
But this is super cool as on raising the bar. Las Vegas events, to come up with this concept, it's like to bring these kids to be on a big stage now, and then like our first champion in 2017 is Bridger Anderson, and then bam, he's at the Thomas and Mack. He's been there twice, but he's been in a big stage in Vegas first. And here we have Cash Robb came up through Oats Steer Wrestling, and here he is, you know, last year's Rookie of the Year, and he's kicking butt here at the NFR. But he's won championships in this town at the Junior World Finals.
Yep.
It's
But it
cool.
kind of, so Bo, Vegas isn't a town, like I wouldn't think from a Vegas marketing perspective that, or maybe I'm wrong,
You're right.
family. I mean, because you really want people to have a good time and be out in the casinos, and if they've got kids, that's a little hard to do. So it seems like there probably was some conversation. Do we do what's good for the sport, which is cultivating the next athlete, which is good for Vegas in 20 years, right, or every year? Because it doesn't seem like a natural combine, a youth event
You're right.
in Las Vegas.
100%. So I want to tell you a quick story first,
Okay.
and then I will circle around to that. But so next year is our 10-year anniversary. So Wayne Brooks announced the Junior World Finals last year. And in Puyallup this year, my boss, Tim Keener, and Tom Klaus were sitting together in Puyallup. And 4 times during that event, Wayne Brooks said, I watched that kid last year at the Junior World Finals. Tom looks over at Tim and says, can we change that name back to the Junior NFR?
You know what? It's super cool, and really, Vegas there's a
It
lot of
is.
stuff.
But it started out that way.
What is the
Yes.
What's the Chevy Chase movie where they come to Vegas and they bring the kids, bring Rusty and whatever?
Yeah.
Vacation.
Vacation.
Okay,
Right.
so
Yeah.
last night,
Crapper's full, Bill. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tyler Wade and Wesley Thorpe won their 3rd go around of the week. They have little kids.
Yep.
Well, okay, so I know that every time they went around, Wesley takes his little boys to Legoland and they get to buy a toy.
Yep.
And then there's somebody else here. T. Wade takes his kid to. He wanted a tent for Christmas, so they went shopping here and bought him a tent.
A tent.
And then
Tent,
there's
yeah.
something. Isn't there M&M World or something?
World.
M&M
Coca-Cola
World.
World,
There's
yeah.
cowboys taking their kids to M&M World.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's cool.
You can swim with the dolphins.
So we have actually 4 hotel properties that are directly involved and partnered with the Junior World Finals, and they would not participate like Sam's Town. I mean, they're way out there, right? So it's hard for them to get the hats there in that building. So without us housing our livestock there and the kids staying there, and they do family-oriented viewing parties for the NFR. So there are several hotel properties that actually cater to them because they're bringing not only their family, they're bringing their mom, their dad, obviously maybe their grandpa, their grandma, their aunt, their uncle, their best friend. So we put a lot of heads in beds, I should say.
Well, that's what your job is,
Yes.
right? Your job
Yes.
is to fill the hotels to capacity and to bring in new consumers. Now, nobody has to go on the record, but this started out as the Junior NFR, and then the PRCA or someone threw a fit about something, and then you guys said, well, fine, we'll change it. Now, this is Tommy Joe's narrative on this, but it sounds like, is that an announcement?
It's an announcement.
We're calling it,
We're calling it the Junior NFR.
it's what it should have been called all along. So congratulations.
It's good because the PRCA now we're allowed to bring in our own sponsors, which is a great thing, and they are going to provide some incentive for these kids to actually get their rodeo card, which we call ourselves Rodeo's Next Up, right? Just as Kendra mentioned. So we're very happy about it, and if you're going to make the announcement, do it on the 10-year anniversary, make it exciting, and change it back to the Junior NFR. And we did it because of the kids. How cool is it for the kids to say, hey, I was in Las Vegas, I won the Junior NFR, and for us, that means more to us.
Thank you, Tom Klaus, for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. All right, let's get into it. Let's recap and look ahead in our events. We'll start out with the bareback riding. Go, Miss Santos.
Well, the TV pin was out in the rough stock last night, which was in the bareback riding. Okay, Jacob Lees and Dean Thompson split the round, 91 big ones apiece. C5's Virgil and Pickett's Horse of the Year Nightcrawler were their 2 dancing partners. It was a great round, and I one of the cool things for me was that Rocker was 88 points on a rewrite. That's cool.
But I'm telling you again, we can all. I don't want to spur up this. I'm a better judge than they are. but Rocker rode the crap out of that horse. Like
He rode the crap out of both of them.
yeah, he did. But I mean, that second ride, there are plenty of people out there that think it probably could have been a little stronger.
The degree of difficulty thing, that's a longer conversation than we have time for, but I've always been like, well, if in my perfect world, there would be, Casey Field would judge the bareback riding here this year, and it would be like that, because I go back to like Ty Murray used to tell me, you can't, unless you've done it 1,000 times, you do not see it in slow motion. And I say, like, someone who used to ride bulls or whatever, how on God's green earth is that guy supposed to?
Or was a tie-down roper.
I'm just saying, in real time, if you haven't done it 1,000,000 times, you don't see it in slow motion like some of those guys. And as far as degree of difficulty, like someone who used to bulldog is supposed to know which horse is really truly stronger, and certain little
I still
things.
think they bless him if you got Virgil. But I've never been on Virgil. So in fairness, right, this is a personal narrative. It seems like you get on that gray horse, you're going to get a few more points. Now, I could be wrong. Again, I'm not stating that I'm a judge, but I did think it's cool, the average leaders, there's 2.5 points separating Dean Thompson and Cole Franks. And what that is, everybody, is they add up all the scores. Right? It's combined scores to see who does the best over the course of 10 days. And I think it's worth talking about. Dean Thompson has 429.5 points. Jess Pope and Cole Franks both have 427.
And
so that's
what's also kind of cute and fun? Dean Thompson, he came up through the Oatberry Junior Steer Wrestling and is Cash Rob's neighbor and used to bulldog at Oates events. So it's kind of fun.
And what do they win for the average? Is it 86 grand if you
Yes.
win the average? So all of you at home that are wondering what we're all talking about, if you're looking at the current, like Keenan Hayes is winning the world with 281,000. But what we all know is that whoever sticks another $86,000 on their total at the end, that changes who gets a gold buckle. So that's what we're all interested in right now, is not just who's currently leading, but Rocker, by getting bucked off, he doesn't have a shot really at that.
He told me last night he's going to have to ride them all and could possibly have to win it every night.
Yeah.
But he said, I can do it.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Okay, in the steer wrestling, our college quarterback, Jesse Brown from Oregon, he was 3-6, he won the round. He made a change last night. And a couple days ago, we were laughing about the initiation for the first-time guys here, how they taped 24-ounce tall boy beers with duct tape to their hands. Well, a couple of the guys who are first-timers here, one of them is Justin Schaefer, and he and Tucker Allen are hazing for each other. Well, Jesse Brown, he was on past Horse of the Year, Eddie, and last night, he just was like, there's nothing wrong with Eddie. There's nothing wrong with Tanner Milan's hazing. I just need to make a change. And so I'm not even positive he was on Eddie. Whatever he was on, forgive me if he wasn't. But he got on to Justin Schaefer's Bulldog and Horse Banker, and now 3 of them are on Banker. And Dirk Tavener was doing a great job before hazing. Maybe he was on Tyson. Anyway, doesn't matter. He made a change last night, and Tyler Pearson, who's also entered here, jumped on his own hazing horse that he has lent to Schaefer and Tucker to haze for each other. Pearson jumps on Metallica and hazes for Jesse Brown. Jesse Brown has never run a steer on this horse, Banker, Schaefer's Bulldog and Horse, in his life, and he's 3-6 and wins the round. So that's pretty cool, and it also speaks of the Bulldoggers' notorious camaraderie, like, I will help you, and if you beat me, good for you.
And the average leader, Will Loomis, with 21 seconds on 5 head. Rowdy Parrott with 21.5
Which is
seconds.
Pretty fascinating. And Will has, there are a lot of people who have the sentimental, thought, because one little thing's happened late in this rodeo for Will a lot over the years. This kept him from a gold buckle. So he's swearing that he's just going to have fun and let the chips fall. We'll see. So T. Wade, we already mentioned it. T. Wade and Wesley won the round last night. I have to say, T-Wade wished his head loop on. The Cowboys call that a money loop. It was not his finest hour, but like it worked and great. And then, of course, Wesley closed it with the old pantyhose up around the hips, And to get a fast flag, it's not always easy when that rope's up there like that. But they got it done. You know what I want to say about the bulldogging before we move on? Big, huge turn of events last night when Dakota Eldridge, there was something he, blows out of there, doesn't jump the steer.
Looks back.
It looks back, but it all happens so fast. He threw his hand up at the back end, but I don't know what the fine print reads. But clearly they felt he'd waited too long to declare himself, is what it appeared. That he was by body language
Waited too long. It takes 2 seconds to get to the yellow chutes.
Well, no,
and you're
but
riding 35 miles an hour.
I understand, but that's I sit with Oat, and that's our presumption that he thought he got a bad gate, but it was like that horse is running wide open. Here come the yellow gates. We've seen a bulldogger splatter on the bucking chutes before, but I'm assuming that they thought that he didn't declare fast enough.
Well, and remember, they're doing reviews. They're doing reviews, but they're only reviewing right certain items and flags. Like they're not reviewing if they rode for 8 seconds.
So
there's only 7 items they're reviewing.
Yeah, but I did get word that they will be reviewing time and slaps next year. They will add that to the bucket, which
more progress. Okay, so pretty big deal. Luke Brown and Travis. There are only 2 teams that have caught 5 steers, and Luke Brown and TG Travis Graves, they're winning it, and Clay Smith and Colby Payne are second. Luke Brown has to be the oldest guy here. I'm pretty sure he's 50 years old, and
he's young.
But I mean, that's pretty cool to keep up with kids half his age. And this is his 15th NFR. He's won almost $3 million. He's a 3-time NFR average winner. And now you're starting to see, you can tell who's still up there. But a lot of money is going to be won on 9 steers.
Point being, these old pros, this is when their seasoning shows.
And there will be no panic from a guy like Luke Brown. And I also, yesterday, the average leaders were Eric Rogers and Paul Eves, and they missed last night, but they only dropped a third in the average. So that's, pretty interesting.
Well, we've got about 10 minutes because what we did find out is they are whacking us off at 1 hour.
Okay.
So if we think we get an extra 30 seconds, we don't. We get.
Okay.
Should I have said that? Was that the wrong way to put that? They're cutting off the show.
Okay. So one more really quick thing is that Brenton Hall had an illegal head catch last night. They'd been doing really well, and I watched him turn around, look at the flagger, and point. Like he turned himself in, and I just want to say, that's impressive. I want my kids to see stuff like that.
Oh, I agree, but it's on TV. Everybody sees it. Yeah,
anyway, we better roll then.
Saddle bronc riding.
Okay, so Brody Wells and Ryder Wright, 89.5. One thing that really...
horse, black tie.
The black tie.
That horse is just magnificent.
Yeah. And I like how it's on the day sheet with all caps on the,
That's like the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's the same way.
It's pretty cool.
Right.
There was a lot of, chitter chatter about the scoreboard last night. Like there were some rides where two judges had 40 and 2 judges had 44. So it's interesting. I'm not sure. Were 2 of them on the one side and 2 in the other? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've always said that. I'm unsure how there can be 5 points difference between the left and the right, but it's subjective.
So anyway, okay. So last year here, because I'm a nerd, I do stay and watch them run the extras after the rodeo. Joel Harris, Ty's brother, ran the extras here last year. And I'll just mention that Kyle Lucas is running the calf roping extras this year, but So he goes from running the extras, which means you're putting a fair number of runs, to keep it even in case somebody basically gets a reride or, in the timed events. And he won the round last night. He was 7-6. And his mom, it was pink night. His mom was decked out in pink sequins. But watching her watch her kid win his first go-around at the NFR was like a cherry on top. That was
very exciting.
It was
very
super fun.
Great
and
for TV is what they say, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
Good story. And the brother wins it the round earlier, right?
Yep.
It's cool.
Very cool. So, anyway.
The tie down is always interesting, right? Every year it becomes engaging because you see things happening. I don't want to spend too long on it, but come on, Riley Webb, keep winning. You're my only guy.
Not one single barrel went down last night. That's a pretty big deal, especially when you get 5 rounds in a small building. So, impressive. But the forced goodbye, Cassie Mowry and Jarvis,
and
they did it again.
It's not going to go away. Like
They're
once
not going
they got
away.
it figured out.
She says that horse gets stronger by the day here.
Yeah.
And, to remember that he's only 6, that's young.
That's a baby
Very
in horse
young.
world.
Very young.
Yeah.
So young. But she said to me the other day when she was driving here and we were talking, and she was like, the Thomas and Mack is easy on him because they're used to going for the fraternities to like coliseums that have clutter, bizarre noise, all kinds of bizarre maybe signage that's not uniform and everything. And she said, this is such a well-oiled machine, 1. 2, it's amazing that our hosts let us girls get in here to show our horses the arena.
Yep.
And if there's some kind of problem, like you can get in there
Figure it out.
And, I promise you that after Leslie Smoligo's horse, Gus, ducked the second barrel the other day, they have these things at odd hours. You might have to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning. But she got to go in there and just calmly remind him, here we are, this is no big deal. So...
Well, and the thing to watch on this, Cassie, you said that she's going to keep going. You've got Haley, and if you look at the world standings, you're looking at $48,000 that separates those two. That's a clean round win and a little bit, but Haley's always in there, right? So
Haley hasn't hit a barrel, and Cassie hit the first barrel on the first night.
So that's probably going to tell that story.
Good.
Yeah, that's probably going to tell that story. All right, bull riding.
Okay, so Cooper James was 88.5 on Shot in the Dark, Sutton Rodeos.
Sutton's bulls have been going to the
Strong.
stage at South Point a lot.
So, speaking of that win last night here at the NFR was Cooper's first professional rodeo buckle, an NFR Go Run buckle. That's pretty cool.
That's his very first
I didn't know
buckle?
that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, first buckle of his
Holy
PRCA
moly.
career. Pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's the one to get.
Yeah. You don't wear that one.
And finally, TJ Gray, and I say finally because we were all just waiting for that kid to figure it out, make a ride, and he places second.
Okay, there was a moment. Josh Frost, why he got his rewrite. Okay, so his bull falls. For one, that catty, scrappy little fella, he did, in the fraction of a blink that it took to hit the ground hard, he got both of his legs up out of there. That was cat-like.
Did he ride him back up? No? I thought he rode him back up.
But he cleared
run.
his legs from that situation. But then that black bull ran him the length of the Thomas and Mack. And pickup man Matt Twitchell, here's Josh running.
Oh, yeah.
With no real escape plan, but not even running as fast as he can, doesn't quite realize the crowd's going, oh my God. Matt Twitchell heads up baseball pickup man, ropes that bull to keep him off of Josh's back.
And what people don't understand is now they have the LED walls, which is fantastic, right, for signage. It gives them the ability to change the imagery, right? It's very high-tech and professional. But if you don't give escape routes, and really it's for the judges, because most of the judges will die trying to get up a 3-foot LED. There's no chance they're getting their foot up there. So they'll have like little ladders in places. And I did see Josh running, and I think he was running by exits along the way and just didn't realize it.
And on that about getting out of the arena, this being my 38th NFR, I looked down there last night and it really hit me. There are young women in that arena as rodeo photographers here. And I remember clear as a bell that early in my tenure, like there was, Brenda Allen was, Casey Field's grandmother, Brenda Allen, was a world-class rodeo photographer and a notorious rodeo photographer. She was absolutely straight up not allowed at that time because they couldn't take the chance of a woman not being able to move fast enough to get up out of there. And I was there for that. And so to see that, that's pretty cool. I mean, those girls they can get up and out of there, they can handle themselves and make sure that they don't interfere with the competition. And they're professionals, and it's fun for me to see. It's kind of like me getting to see breakaway ropers. But Speed's daughter, Haley, I saw them eating at the Oyster Bar yesterday, and Speed they're running a total, she's going to win close to $200,000 in about a week in the breakaway roping.
That's good.
And girls, used to, after college, it was over. So this is pretty cool.
It's coming to it's
and
around
then,
the corner.
and also
young
women getting to ride mammoths is,
Or a mammoth getting ridden by a woman. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Okay. Oh, no offense, Rump. Okay. Let's do. We've got a couple minutes left. Let's just talk about All Around and Top Gun because we've left that out.
Oh. Okay.
All Around.
Okay. Let's talk about that.
2 minutes. You got 2 minutes.
Okay. Well.
So you can't tell the lineage of the third brother. We got to.
Up yours. Okay. So Shad is still in the lead, but 21,000 behind him is Junior Nogueira. And they had hacked the first couple rounds, and then they won the third. If my memory is still working enough, as tired as I am, Coleman is third, about 230,000. Okay, so the Top Gun. Okay,
what is the Top Gun?
The Top Gun. So it's whoever wins the most money here in one event. It originally won a truck, and now it's.
Well, remember we cleared that up last year.
Okay, but. Well,
it's a voucher toward.
Okay. It's a voucher. It's either $20,000 or $25,000 toward a truck, which now costs I don't know, and a rifle.
$80,000
and a rifle. So it's a voucher. So
it's better than no voucher.
It's better than no voucher. I wonder if you could give that $20,000. If you could buy a runaround car to go buy groceries in for $20,000 with that, or do you have to buy a truck? I don't know.
I don't know either. But right now, Riley Webb with 137,000 is right at the top, with Haley right behind him with 136 grand. I'm sure they're not going to complain about the $20,000 voucher. It's just at one point, a lot of us believe they got a pickup.
They did at one point.
At one point, yeah. That has changed through the years.
But think about that. Riley has won almost 140 grand in 5 rounds here. Thank you, Las Vegas.
He's not done. And so real quick, we got about a minute. New contract.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
We got 30, 40 seconds. This double.
We're hoping to get to $25 million.
$25 million.
That's our goal.
And right now it is
13.
13. We got to beat the World Series of team roping sometime at some point, right?
I'm glad you said that.
Hey,
I'm glad you said that.
Trying to beat Denny and Connie Gentry at anything, pack your lunch.
Yeah.
These guys will do it. Hey, we want to thank all of you for listening to us. Come down and enjoy us. Cowboy Commons, it's a cool place. Thanks for being a part of our team at No Spin Rodeo. Mr. Gardner, thanks for being with us.
Thank you
all.
We'll
see you tomorrow.